We get so hyper focused on our own team that sometimes we forget to take a look around at other teams, especially in our own division. So today we're going to look at the Minnesota Vikings. And good news for us is that the Vikings seem to be a little bit in trouble here. Veteran players that they've had around that have really given us trouble over the years have gone away. Kirk Cousins is just proven now that, yes, he's good, but not great. And I'm going to show you that they've had a couple draft pick misses over the last couple of years that I think are really going to cost them this year. So let's take a look at the Minnesota Vikings and see where they could have some problems.
Hey, what's up, Chris?
Um, here's what we're doing.
We're doing it live. I just saw you were recording live, so I popped in. What do you know?
The Minnesota Vikings, and I'm going to show you, and I'm so glad you're here. Minnesota is a team that is just won the division last year. We all naturally they're going to come down just on some of those miracle wins, and I think that's part of the hype of the Detroit Lions. Is yes, we are good, and we've much improved, but everyone around us, there's nobody that scares you. There's nobody that's an absolute juggernaut. So when you think Vikings kind of going into this year, and what we're going to do in this video, I'm going to show you the depth chart. Some of the veterans that they had that gave us trouble all those years are gone, and then also going to show you a little some of these draft pick misses that they've had in 2021 really be shining this year that they're not going to have. So as I pull that up, where are you at with Minnesota going into this year, and what do you think?
Yeah, I think that it's based on the way they played last year. I think it was a little bit of fool's gold. We all know that. I think they're a good team. I think they're a well-coached team, and they have talent. I mean, they have the best wide receiver in the league. Don't get me wrong on that. But Kirk Cousins is another year older. They don't have that pop at the running back room that they did with Dalvin Cook. No offense to Alexander Madison. And I just see like a team that's okay. Like they're okay, but it's starting to get toward the backside of it, whereas the Lions are on the upswing of it.
100% well said there. That's it. So Kirk Cousins, you know, it starts and ends with him. I mean, I think we probably dog on him more than we should, but at the same time, I think he's better than we always just he sucks. It's like no, he's a good quarterback, but he's never going to just be great and just like wow, you can have that season that it's like I never saw that coming. It's like it's not coming. It's just not, and they're going to be a really good, solid quarterback, but it kind of starts and ends with him.
I think so. And if you surround him with a ridiculous amount of talent, he can do a good job. But he's not the quarterback that's going to go out and win you a game. That was the big knock on him forever, was he loses the big games. Well, it's not because he's not making it's not because he's dumb making the wrong decisions. It's just he's not talented. He doesn't have the arm talent to make it happen. He's talented. Don't get me. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying like he's not in that next caliber of quarterback.
Yes, 100%. So I'm going to buzz through this real quick, but like you said, Alexander Madison, hey, good, good, fine. Not great. Maybe. Yes, you do have Justin Jefferson, the guy. I mean,
the guy.
Really, it's hard for someone to stand out like him. I mean, so for the Vikings, yes, you've got him, no question. Got to give credit due there. Then you've got a rookie. Then you've got, just. And you know, you and I could talk about Hockenson all day, and it's on record that we've just never. It kind of became obvious he was never going to be this stud that we all had hoped for. Very good tight end, but it's nobody that really scares you. So you look at the offensive line, same thing, nothing that jumps out. You got Danielle Hunter, that guy's got to be 37. You've got just
he's that old, but yes, it seems like he's been there for too long. Yes.
So nothing
again
nothing
back
jumps
end.
out and scares you there. So I found this article I think you'd find interesting, and then we'll look at some of their draft history. But this is their kind of top 10 worst draft picks since 2000. So
that's beautiful.
That's 23 years. But what I found interesting was how a lot of these were pretty recent. So this Chaz Surratt was a 2021 third-round pick. And I'm like, man, I never heard of him. No, I mean, they said Vikings had 4 third-round picks in 2021. This was a chance to build depth, have inexpensive players for the next few years. Dude just fizzles right out, nothing there. And then the next one, Wyatt Davis, a guard.
He's dying, everybody.
I'm okay. A guard, same thing, 2021. So they kind of screwed up there. So, Craig, your thoughts on just the the overall, when you think of the Vikings and who they've drafted, I mean, nobody's really jumped out to me over these last few years. I mean, so I'm not worried there at all either.
No, I mean Jefferson's the only one,
Hmm.
right? That you're sitting here saying like, "Oh, dang, that's a good player." Like,
Yes.
and even if you go to like, and that was 2020, right? So even if you go into 2020, who else is still on that team?
Oh yeah, from 2020. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
KJ Osborne's still there,
Jeez, they had a million picks.
right?
Jeez, I
Yeah,
remember
but
that
I
year.
don't not a
Yeah.
lot of them are still there.
Mm-mm.
And I mean, like, no offense, go down just a little bit and this is a late one, but Josh Metellus played a game against us when Smith was hurt. It's just like, ooh, that was really bad. Like, thank you for letting us win the game, Josh
Yes,
Metellus. But
yes.
there's just not a lot going on there. If I'm gonna be honest with you, the Vikings drafts of the last 3 or 4 years kind of remind me of the Lions drafts under the Quinn
Yes.
Trisha era, where it's like nothing huge. Lewis Seen, did he even play last year?
Right
I
here,
think he
look,
played in, like it says right here, he played in 3 games.
3 games.
He was your first round draft pick, and he was unplayable.
And oh, dude,
Whoops.
what a great point. That's exactly right. And look at and we happen to be on the other side of it, so we saw it. They took our pick, we traded up, we get splash superstar. He
Yeah.
hasn't played, albeit, but that's the difference. And they're just like kind of gathering picks and making all these just very general safe picks. And we've
Mhm.
lived that. And it sounds good on the surface to just get a bunch of depthy guys, but I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't like doing that. We saw it.
Yeah, and then you have some players that are playing that are, a little further back, but they're not the guys that are making the difference. Right?
Mhm.
Like, I
Right.
get it. Great. Ed Ingram, he started 17 games. Well, a second round guard should start 17 games. And it's because the guard that they drafted in 2021 was terrible.
That's right.
Like,
Yep.
we just saw that. Like, so you had to double up on it to find somebody that you should have found the year before.
Yes. And so you look at the
Kellen Mond, why did they think that would work? I'm
oh my
sorry.
gosh.
That makes no
That's
sense to me.
huge. Look at that. Because you look at Christian Darasaw. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, great.
Yep. And this is, oh my gosh, look at these games played. That is very interesting. These guys
Mhm.
right here. That's what we were just looking at. That is killer for you.
That 3rd round, you're just missing it.
You missed it. And so
Missed it.
the Vikings are a team we all know naturally are coming down. Naturally, eh, just naturally coming down. And then on top of that, draft picks that missed, veterans that have left,
Yep.
feeling pretty good about this.
And I think what happens with the Vikings too, they're naturally going to come down a little, and then there's going to be a year where they just fall out
I know.
because they have a 34-year-old quarterback, and they're just trying to keep it together around an average quarterback. Don't get me wrong, Kirk Cousins is good. He's like quarterback number 14, 15, 16 every single year.
Mhm,
So
mhm,
if you have a top 10 roster, you're going to win with them. If you have a bottom 10 roster, you're going to lose with them.
mhm.
And eventually they just have no quarterback. And because they have nothing behind him, I mean, what was it? Nick Mullins, which is fine as a backup quarterback. It's perfectly fine, but he's not the guy who's taking the franchise. So I think that's what happens. Like, they're due pretty soon to have the rebuilding 2 years that the Lions just went through, that the Bears are going through. And I
Yes.
think they're setting up for that rebuild.
Oh, I love it. Nope, you nailed it. Let us know your thoughts in the comments on this. Again, we're trying to have a little something. We're so hyper focused on our own team. We want to take a look at the Vikings because who
Sure.
knows? Maybe
Nice.
they're doing something really well, maybe not. And it's like, no, the more we kind of looked at it, it's like, this is good. This is really good. So let us know your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see all of you on the next one.